Content warning. This video contains graphic content, speculation, strong language, violence, and flashing lights. Viewer discretion advised.
Coast is the one, Coast Federal.
Good evening, I'm Steve Newman, and this is Channel 40 Weather Watch. It's going to be even cooler tonight.
We all enjoy a pleasant surprise once in a while.
For Sarasota, Bradenton, WXLT TV, Channel 40. WXLT TV, Channel 40, Sarasota, Bradenton.
On the morning of July 15, 1974, a live television broadcast by WXLT TV, later known as WWSB, an affiliate of ABC News, took a tragic and unexpected turn. Christine Chubbuck, a 29-year-old journalist, was hosting her segment, reporting on the day's news. She began with the usual stories, including a report on a shooting. When the video clip failed to air, she calmly stated, "In keeping with Channel 40's policy of bringing you the latest in blood and guts and in living color, you are about to see another first, an attempted suicide." With those chilling words, Christine Chubbuck pulled out a small .38 caliber Smith & Wesson handgun from under her desk and shot herself in the head, just behind her right ear. The shot was heard live on air as she slumped forward, striking her head on the desk before collapsing onto the floor. What viewers had just witnessed was the first that was ever broadcast on live television. In the immediate aftermath, the stunt director quickly faded the screen to black and played a public service announcement before switching to a whole movie. The broadcast had reached only a few hundred viewers, but the impact was profound. Many frantically called the police, unsure if what they had seen was real. Christine Chubbuck was rushed to the hospital, but despite efforts to save her, she succumbed to her injuries later that day. Why would Christine Chubbuck commit such a tragic act on live television? The station's director later reflected, saying she was a 29-year-old woman who wanted to get married, but wasn't. Chubbuck was known to struggle with maintaining relationships, which contributed to her deepening depression. Furthermore, she recently had surgery on her ovaries, and her doctors often pressured her to have children in the next 2 to 3 years, or else she would be unable to reproduce. Among the news scripts she had been reading that day was a note with explicit instructions on how her suicide should be broadcasted. Today, Christine Chubbuck shot herself during a live broadcast. She was rushed to Sarasota Memorial Hospital, where she remains in critical condition. To this day, the footage of Christine Chubbuck's suicide has never been aired again. All tapes of the broadcast were secured in a vault out of respect for her family, to ensure that no further viewings would ever occur. However, the audio of the broadcast has surfaced online, and I will now play it for you.
Last night, we did have a film report and a commentary by Bob Peterson. Unfortunately, we had technical difficulties and cannot transmit now. However, News Watch tonight at 5:30, and we will have that story for you then. As of this morning, Grace Foster, who was shot in that incident, is in satisfactory condition at Sarasota Memorial Hospital. In keeping with the WXLT practice of presenting the most immediate and complete reports of local blood and guts news, TV40 presents what is believed to be a television first. In living color, exclusive coverage of an attempted suicide.
Those were the last words of Christine Chubbuck. Additionally, several fake leaks have surfaced on Reddit. While some appear convincing at first glance, they bear subtle signs of editing that reveal their inauthenticity. This tragic event remains a haunting reminder of the darkness that can sometimes lie beneath the surface of public life. A stark contrast to the composed and professional image presented on screen.
We're with you on ABC with you.
But we want to begin this half hour with serious news. Chilling images of an admitted serial killer committing one of his shocking crimes.
Powerful crossbow right after a murder, taunting the CCTV camera.
So just sometimes you killed someone to kill yourself or kill parents. I don't know.
In the quiet town of Bradford, West Yorkshire, between 2009 and 2010, a series of events unfolded that would forever stain the community with a deep, unsettling darkness. This is the story of Stephen Griffiths, a man who embraced his inner demons and became one of the most infamous killers in recent British history. But Stephen wasn't just any murderer. He would come to be known by a name that strikes terror into those who hear it: the Crossbow Cannibal. But who was Stephen Griffiths? Long before the world knew him as a killer, he was simply a man with a violent past. In 1989, Griffiths stabbed the store manager, an act that earned him 3 years behind bars. His criminal tendencies didn't stop there. He spent another 2 years in prison for threatening a girl with a knife. But even then, no one could have predicted what he would become. Early on, Stephen admitted to having the desires of becoming a serial killer. Diagnosed with schizophrenia and psychopathy, he was a ticking time bomb, and it was only a matter of time before that bomb exploded. In a twisted irony, Griffiths pursued a PhD in homicide studies at the University of Bradford, an academic venture that would ultimately fuel his sinister ambitions. Police became suspicious. They kept a close watch on him, and for good reason. He owned hunting weapons, read books on dismemberment, and exhibited behavior that was becoming increasingly erratic. The authorities grew more concerned. They contacted the owners of Griffith's flat, urging them to install more security cameras. But despite their efforts, they couldn't stop what was coming. Susan Rushworth was 43 years old when she stepped into Stephen Griffith's flat, never to return. Her life ended in a manner as brutal as it is senseless. Shot in the head with a crossbow, dismembered in the bathtub, and partially eaten. Her remains were disposed of in River Aire, and to this day, her body has never been found. But one victim wasn't enough for Stephen. His next target was Shelley Armitage, a 31-year-old woman. Once again, he used his crossbow to take her life, but this time, he took things further. He tied her up in a moment's horrific depravity, painted a chilling message on her back whilst recording himself saying,
"I am the Ben Pariah. I am the bloodbath artist. Here is my model assisting me."
Stephen had recorded the entire process on his phone, dismembering and consuming parts of her remains. Unlike Susan, parts of Shelley were later found in the river. But Stephen's arrogance led to his downfall. He lost his phone on a train, and within it, the evidence that would seal his fate. Authorities discovered footage of Susan's murder and a haunting paragraph of Shelley's dead body. But Griffiths wasn't done. Susan Blumeyers was his third victim. She tried to escape, but Stephen was faster. He shot her with his crossbow, and in a macabre moment caught on CCTV, he casually flipped off the camera, before returning to his grisly task: dismemberment, cannibalism, and another body dumped in the river. Stephen Griffiths revealed his new identity as the Crossbow Cannibal. When the police finally closed in, he offered no resistance, even coining the moniker himself. Convicted of all 3 murders, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. To this day, he rots behind bars, his gruesome videos locked away from the public eye.
So, just sometimes you killed someone to kill yourself, or killed parents. I don't know. That's like deep.
This is the battlefield for our game of speed and strategy. These are the letters which lead to victory.
It's tough to tear up a rubber one, you know that? Oh, let's just throw it. Hey, we'll just do this.
Where's the answer you answered before it even finished, which is pretty good. You might as well do that to save time. Be relaxing now. Get ready to meet a new opponent.
Jeopardy! Alex Trebek!
Thank you, Johnny.
In the 1970s, among the rise of game shows like Jeopardy and Family Feud, there was a lesser-known show called the $25,000 Great Temptation. In short, The Great Temptation. To explain the game shortly, the show is very similar to another game called The Sale of the Century. There are 3 contestants on stage, and each one is given a question that they must answer. Just like The Sale of the Century, once the contestant gets a question correctly, they get a certain dollar amount on their score. The catch is, the contestant in the lead can make small purchases throughout the show, or do the risky thing and save up till the end and get a major surprise. The show quickly picked up its pace and grew larger and larger. There were episodes after episodes. It even started to air in Australia. At this point, it seemed as if the show was unstoppable. But as the ancient saying goes, anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Thank you very much, Max Rowley. Evening all. Welcome to the show. $25,000 Great Temptation. Hope you're feeling well at home tonight.
On a particular day in 1970, everything was going well and stayed as planned. As usual, there were 3 contestants, 2 male who are unknown to this day, and a woman named Valerie. Very early on into the episode, Valerie had taken the lead. Despite the efforts of the other contestants, Valerie had maintained her lead throughout the episode. Once the show reached its climax, the host would announce, "Congratulations, Valerie, you've won." In a matter of seconds, her body went limp, and she would stumble onto the floor. It's possible that she had just been too excited and passed out from shock. Regardless, ambulances were called to the scene. Sometime later, the floor manager had bad news for everyone. She had died. The cause of death is unknown, but they suspect that her heart had stopped or somewhere along those lines. This was the worst way to end the shoot. Due to the surprising end to the episode, the show had not been aired in respect to Valerie's family. This episode will completely be untouched for obvious reasons. After another 5 seasons, the show would ultimately come to a close in 1974. That is all the lost media that I'll be covering today. Like always, if you made it this far, you might as well click that subscribe button and like this video. I'll be back with another video within the next 2 weeks.